I'm Karin, welcome to my kitchen. So tonight we're doing something a little bit different. Instead of doing a typical pantry meal, we're going a little bit more elegant. Recently I was gifted some spring parsnips. Woo! Oh, hello!
Hey.
What do you have there?
I got some parsnips, fresh from the garden.
And when life, or in this case a longtime friend, brings you parsnips, you make a meal out of that. Spring parsnips are special because since they've been in the ground for so long, they become really sweet by the time they're dug up. They have this intense, elegant, rich, and nutty flavor. You can make chips with them, you can puree them, you can roast them. But today we're making a parsnip mash. Also in keeping with spring, I'm making lamb rib chops as my protein, and we'll do a simple red wine pan sauce with it. But first, the parsnips. I'm going to actually add a couple potatoes in here as well. They have a little bit more body, so it's kind of scoopable, but we'll still have that great parsnip flavor. If you're going to roast these guys, you could use a scrubby like this, a new one, and just scrub them really hard, and then until you get the dirt off. Today I'm going to peel them. I'm just going to take these parsnips and the potatoes and cut them in very similar sizes. I don't want this to take so long, so I'm going to do fairly small chunks. I'm just going to cook them until they're tender in a little bit of chicken stock and cream. You could also just use water if you don't have stock or cream. I'm adding just enough liquid to reach the tops of the veggies, and I'm covering them with parchment. If you don't have this, you could also use a lid. I'm just going to let this simmer back here while we get our lamb ready. I bought this small rack at the butcher in one piece, but I'm cleaning or Frenching the bones, and then we'll portion it into little lollipops. I have this cast iron on medium-high heat, and then, per usual, we're going to turn it down just right before we cook the lamb. I'm seasoning generously with salt and pepper. We're keeping it simple. Our pan is nice and hot, so I have some butter and oil in the pan. We're going to add a couple of crushed garlic cloves and some thyme. It'll be kind of an aromatic for this lamb. We just want to get a good brown sear on both sides, and we'll let it gently finish in the oven. These parsnips are really close. I'm waiting until they can easily be squished by a fork. If you don't cook these parsnips enough, your puree will be really grainy. Our lamb is browning beautifully. Once both sides are brown, we'll transfer it onto a cool plate and put it in the oven at 300 and check on it in 5 minutes. While we wait for the lamb to finish, we're going to make a quick pan sauce. I drained off most of the fat from the pan. Now that we've removed some of the excess fat, we're going to add a little bit of finely minced shallot. If you need to, you can add a little extra butter here. Our shallots are nicely sweated, and I'm adding some red wine. And now we're going to add some chicken stock. If you have beef stock, that would be even better, but this will work. If you've already seasoned your lamb a lot, you won't need to add much salt here, but we'll taste it. As usual, we'll simmer until it's just a thin layer of liquid in the pan. Meanwhile, our lamb looks great. There's some resistance in the middle, but it still feels tender. While the sauce is reducing, we can finish our parsnips. We're going to strain off some of the excess liquid here. And then we're actually going to mill these through a ricer. I love having this round. It's like the original food processor. If you just made this with parsnips, you could actually blend it in the blender. But since we have potato in here, we don't want to do that. If you blend the potato, it'll bring out the starch too much. You'll end up with a very starchy, weird sauce. This keeps the integrity of the texture. If you have a good old-fashioned potato masher, you can use that as well. Here I'm just adding some room temperature butter, some salt, and cream. You can fold these things in or stir gently and keep adding butter and cream until it's just smooth enough but still packs a parsnipy punch. In the meantime, our sauce is reduced just enough so we can finish that. So we're going to just whisk in this butter, and then we'll strain the sauce. We'll taste it too, and ready to go. That is just the right amount of luxurious tart that we need. Garnished with hazelnut, parsley, and lettuce thinings from my garden, this buttery lamb and parsnip mash is a delightful combination. And it works beautifully with this wine that New France carries. The aroma is just gorgeous. Make sure you see what my friend Erin has to say about this cool Spanish red. I'm Karin. Thanks so much for joining me in my kitchen. Enjoy some lamb and have a great week.
Hey everybody, it's Mike and I'm in Karin's kitchen today. Parsnips from the previous season left underground with their stems, you know, sort of shooting up all winter long, even if there's like 3 feet of snow. Come back, you know, maybe it's March, maybe it's September, maybe it's October. Actually, let's go back. You can use them in things like soups and dips